There are rare moments in the history of science when silence speaks louder than any explosion, when the absence of sound carries a weight that shakes the foundations of what we believe to be true. This is one of those moments. It was not an asteroid hurtling through space, nor the death cry of a collapsing star, nor the shimmering birth of a distant galaxy that drew the attention of the world's most powerful observatory. No, it was silence itself. Far beyond the moon's orbit, more than 1 million miles from Earth, the James Webb Space Telescope drifted in its lonely vigil. It had turned its gaze toward a region of space thought to be utterly barren, a lifeless gulf between galaxies, an overlooked blank space on our cosmic map. For decades, astronomers dismissed it as nothing more than an expanse of emptiness, but what Webb found there shattered that certainty. In the stillest corner of the cosmos, the telescope recorded a shadow. Not a shadow cast by light, nor one reflected from some hidden source. This shadow devoured light. It consumed it, as though the very beams of distant suns vanished upon touching its surface. And then, something even more unsettling happened. The darkness moved, slowly, deliberately, as if aware of being watched. What came next forced teams of astrophysicists, cosmologists, and mathematicians to discard their most trusted models of reality. This was no comet, no pulsar, no black hole. This was something entirely different, something that reacted, that behaved with intention, and perhaps something that remembered. The story begins near the Eridana supervoid, a vast, almost mythical realm of space marked by strange cold spots and an unusually low population of galaxies. While Webb's team was calibrating its infrared instruments for a deep-field galaxy survey, the telescope picked up something unexpected. An anomaly. It was too precise to be a natural phenomenon, yet too chaotic to be a crafted machine. Instead of the faint haze of interstellar gas or the shimmering arcs of distant galaxies, Webb recorded a flawless circle of nothing. No light escaped it. No light bent around it. This was not the gravitational lensing seen around massive objects. This was an interruption, as though the fabric of reality itself had been erased. Picture dropping ink into a still glass of water, only to see the water itself disappear. That is what the data suggested, an absence not only of matter, but of the laws that govern matter. At first, some speculated it might be a new kind of black hole, but the calculations didn't match. There was no detectable mass, no X-ray radiation, no gravitational pull, only cold stillness and an unyielding refusal to fit into the known patterns of the universe. Then, over several days, the anomaly's perimeter began to shift, not like a planet in orbit, but in a manner eerily like something breathing. Scientists studied the light patterns around it and made an unnerving discovery. The faint ripples of distortion radiating outward were not random, they followed a strict mathematical sequence. 2 pulses, then 3, then 5, 7, 11, prime numbers. The implication was chilling. The anomaly was not merely existing, it was sending a signal. Yet this signal was unlike any form of radiation known to science. Not radio waves, not infrared or gamma rays. This was a disturbance in spacetime itself. Webb's most sensitive gyroscopes detected minute, almost imperceptible shifts in their readings with every burst, like a gentle finger tapping against the very structure of reality. This did not just defy the laws of physics. It seemed to mock them. The signal's precision was inescapably artificial, and perhaps most unsettling of all, some suspected it was not the message of something alive, but something aware. Then came the moment no one had predicted. 27 days after the first detection, the object moved, not through space as we understand it, but through dimensions. It did not glide nor accelerate. It simply vanished from one position and reappeared in another, fractionally offset from its original coordinates. To the human eye, the change was insignificant, but to scientists, it was catastrophic. It meant the object was not bound by light speed or by time itself. Its behavior resembled the instantaneous reactions seen in quantum entanglement, but on the scale of a small moon. And when researchers mapped its new locations over time, a pattern emerged, a spiral turning inward toward Earth. By the fourth month, the question was no longer whether the object was dangerous, but whether it was thinking. The distortions around it began to form repeating fractal shapes, patterns resembling neural networks rather than planetary orbits. And each time Webb adjusted its view, the patterns subtly altered themselves, as though adapting to our observation. The term coined for this phenomenon was responsive geometry. Some speculated it might be a dimensional anchor, holding position not to travel, but to wait. When AI models trained to detect alien patterns were fed Webb's data, they failed catastrophically. They froze, looped endlessly, and finally produced a single word in their error logs, recognized. Weeks later, an even more haunting discovery was made. The background radiation around the object began to shift, not randomly, but in harmony with its pulses. The delay in the signal suggested it was an echo, a reflection of something deliberate. Spectral analysis revealed a layered structure in the signal, intervals arranged like musical chords. Some called it the song of the void. Others were less poetic. They called it evidence. Such harmony, they argued, could not be generated by natural forces. It was engineered. And then the mathematics appeared. Hidden within the signal's timing was a prime number spiral, an arrangement known as the Ulam spiral, long regarded as a mysterious curiosity in number theory. But here, it was perfect, intentional. When the sequence was rendered in 3 dimensions, it became something even stranger, a double helix, nearly identical to the structure of human DNA. Coincidence? Perhaps. But when the timing of the pulses was compared to the codons in our genetic code, the alignment was undeniable. Something out there did not just see us, it understood us. After that, information began to vanish. Data streams from Webb were delayed. Observatory access logs were wiped. Scientists began stepping down from the project. Public statements from space agencies shifted from excitement to carefully worded vagueness. Behind closed doors, emergency meetings were held, not because the object posed an obvious threat, but because no one could guarantee it hadn't already arrived. Then came the final act. On the 48th day of targeted observation, just before Webb's schedule moved on to another patch of sky, the anomaly's signature abruptly disappeared. No pulses, no distortions, only silence. But in the final moments before it vanished, Webb recorded one last image, an infrared shape, crisp and deliberate, composed of nested triangles, circles, and intersecting lines. A sigil hanging in the dark. It lasted for only 3 frames before it was gone. Since then, nothing has returned. The object remains unseen, the silence remains unbroken, and the possibility remains, the possibility that it never left at all. What did Webb truly witness? A sentinel in the blackness, a beacon meant only for those capable or foolish enough to notice, or something far older, waiting patiently for us to look its way? The truth is simple and terrifying. The deeper we stare into the void, the more the void seems to stare back. And perhaps, just perhaps, it has been waiting for this moment all along. This was not just a discovery, this was an answer. And answers, in the wrong hands, can be far more dangerous than questions.